Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington showed us presidents are not kings. Abraham Lincoln implored us to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt, who inspired us to reject fear. I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is a stake, I think is more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. We've come so far since my inauguration. On that day I told you I stood in that winter, we were stood in a winter of peril and winter of possibilities. Peril of possibilities. The truth, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. Those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much. The cause of American democracy itself. We must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders had given America a monarchy or republic. Franklin's response was, republic, if you can keep it. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. It's the best way to unite our nation.
Ah! What in the name? No!
Is that it?
That was President Biden.
So that's going to be it. Wow. So Joe Biden did the meme. Hold on. I cannot believe this. This is one of my, this is amazing. Joe Biden did the meme. We shared this as a joke amongst the staff. And here's the meme, ladies and gentlemen. This was the meme, all right? Edward Russell, creator. This was the meme that, like, the next time you see Joe Biden, he's going to appear like this. This was a joke. This was the joke. That this was, you're going to see Joe Biden is about a week old. And then this is what Joe Biden just looked like in his pathetic last sad address to the American people, hopefully last ever, from the office that he's totally disgraced. Look at this. The memes predict the future. Now, who the hell is this guy? Because this is what Joe Biden looked like less than 12 hours ago. This is a video, this is a photo from the wire services of Joe Biden. All right, what happened? Did you get hit by the sun? Did the sun come down and land on your face? What happened to you? Did you dive into a vat of Oompa Loompa chocolate at the Charlie Chaplin Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka? What's going on here? Look at this old cretinous corpse. What is this? Who the hell is this guy? By the way, did he have the bruise on the side of his face? This is why we have the poll asking, was that AI? Was that AI? Was that mechanical Biden? Was it was it Biden number 2, number 6, or number 7? Number 7. Who the hell is this guy? Some of the snap reactions from the internet note that this looks like a hostage video, which it does. Our production team, Ashley on our production team, said this looks really sad. Like this is quite frankly like really depressing. This is the same Joe Biden who, how old is this tweet? It's a week old. 2 weeks old. A 2 week old tweet from Joe Biden. let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm the sitting president of the United States. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party. I'm staying in the race. This has 57 million views on it. Joe Biden, in a defiant interview that he gave just days ago, the guy, George Stephanopoulos, looked straight down the barrel of the camera and said, God himself couldn't get me to drop out of the race. It's like, you kind of get like a Titanic feel about this, you know? Famously, the captain of the Titanic said, God himself couldn't sink this ship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden just had his Titanic moment. Here it is.
I mean, on a more practical level, Washington Post just reported in the last hour that Senator Mark Warner is assembling a group of senators together to try and convince you to stand down because they don't think you can win.
Well, Mark is a good man. We've never had that. He also tried to get the nomination too. Mark's not. Mark and I have a different perspective. I respect him.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail, including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. No one said, none of the things I should leave.
But if they do?
Well, it's like, they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came out and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down.
You don't have to be a person of deeply devout faith. I happen to be a Christian, a simple Christian, right? I just read my Bible. I'm not particularly smart or knowledgeable. I just read my Bible and I believe it. And I got to tell you, like, saying the Lord's not coming back, and more importantly, the Lord couldn't get me out of this race, well then, who got you out of the race, Joe? Exactly. Was it Satan? I don't know. Who was it? Exactly. What happened? You know, we could spend the rest of the night playing you defiant clips of Joe Biden. You know it. I know it. Joe Biden's been asked this question for a long time. Not just after the debate with Donald Trump, but for a long time, Joe Biden has faced this question. Will you run again? And Joe Biden decided that he's going to run again. And he told us this for a long, long time, including but not limited to this clip where he says, it's like the creator of the universe, God himself couldn't get me to drop out of this race. What happened? What file did they open for Joe Biden on blackmail? What did they do to the guy? It really makes you wonder what happened. Maybe in our lifetime we won't know. But there's something that happened in those 5 days of COVID isolation that scared literally the life out of Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden alive? This is still one of the top Google search queries. Is Joe Biden alive? Is something that has little spikes here and there, right? Every time Joe Biden falls downstairs. But then we get to today, and it goes parabolic. People are very concerned about Joe Biden, and that little appearance, that short appearance, hey Alex, what would we time that at? 5 minutes? How long was that? Felt like nothing. Is it 5 minutes? I mean, we live streamed for like 7 hours at a time. Like, there's no 5 minutes? It's like nothing. Joe Biden slurring, super orange Joe Biden, clearly medicated Joe Biden with what looked like bruises on his face, slurring and gobbling his words, coughing and slack-jawed in the Oval, where he's as orange as basketball. something, he goes from this to this. Bro. This is why the Babylon Bee can write headlines like this. He's orange as the Babylon Bee.
I now proclaim Kamala Harris of the whorehouse banister, first of her skin color, queen of locking up black men, Heel's high protector of the intelligence kingdom. Long may she reign.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. When you go on vacation, a lot of people get a house sitter, maybe they have a dog, some things to be taken care of, whatever. You want to make sure that the house is in good order when you return home. If the house is on fire, filthy, collapsing in, water pipe burst, whatever, like if the house is being destroyed when you come back, be very, very angry at the house sitters that you left the house to. Okay, so consider the house is the Democratic Party, and the guy who's been on vacation is Mr. Barack Obama, Mr. Community Organizer himself. All right, person who effectively remade the party in his image. Okay, he has called himself the chosen one for a reason. So let's say you leave that house to Joe Biden, and the place is in shambles, and you need to change the keys, right? And how do you do that? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to take out the guy who's currently destroying the home. All right. You got to make sure that Joe Biden moves out of the way. So you declare that he has COVID or something like that. Joe Biden can barely make it down the stairs. This is the last time we saw Joe Biden before he dropped out of the presidential race. All right. So you shove him into quarantine. You know that it's not actually COVID. We now know, according to multiple first-hand accounts from police officers, that it was something far more severe, something more like stroke-like symptoms, okay? And that Joe Biden happened to be rushed either to the hospital or out of Nevada, where he was. So something horrible happens to Joe Biden. You force majeure Joe Biden to sign a little piece of paper, probably doesn't even know what he's signing, that says, I'm dropping out of the race. You get Joe Biden out of the race, even though it's obviously not his signature. Not what this story's about, but it is, yeah. And then you install the puppet. Now the problem is that the puppet is a moron, and is stupid, and is less liked than Joe Biden. And now you got yourself a major issue, because the person who's watching your house is worse than the original house sitter that destroyed it. Now you have a real problem. Like, for instance, if Kamala Harris is so stupid, she does a fake phone call with Joe Biden and tells everybody that it's a recording.
Good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We've been talking every day. We love Joe and Jill.
Come on, Buzz.
We really do.
Buzz
they
and I
truly
are real
like
talents.
family to us. And we do. Everybody here does. I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
Kamala Harris, I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, are you? Can you please go somewhere? This is why when corporate media reporters asked Kamala Harris if she's going to be running for president instead of diseased old Joe Biden, this was from a year ago, she had this shocking answer.
President Biden, and he is not able to run, that there would be a free-for-all for who would run as president.
Because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election.
Yeah, he is very much alive. We've seen this. You know, this has been something that's been playing out. It's been so embarrassing for so long. Watching Kamala Harris as Joe Biden makes remarks, all you have to do is actually watch her. You don't got to be a body language expert to know that this woman hates this man. but also she's like deeply and utterly incompetent in her own right. And this little transition over to boom clap Kamala, this isn't going great. All right, like this is what the Google trends look like. Is Joe Biden dead? Donate to Kamala. You'll see that is Joe Biden dead is vastly overtaking donate to Kamala here. This is happening at the polls, where the polls are just not really showing a major significant bump, where Kamala Harris's net favorability has absolutely totally plunged. It's going to have a teeny bit of a bounce. This is called the honeymoon in politics. You can see here when Kamala Harris began as vice president that we had sort of a back and forth on her net positivity versus people that saw her as unfavorable, and then whoop, and it's never recovered. The honeymoon period is what they're begging for here, and they're hoping that Kamala Harris can overtake Donald Trump in some of these rigged polls. And the polls are completely rigged. You know that the polls are rigged. This is what it looked like right on the eve of the election in 2016. A far left-wing, sociopathic liar woman running against Donald Trump. This is what your corporate media told you. Corporate media told you Donald Trump's chances of winning are approaching zero in 2016, right before Donald Trump forced those reporters to eat these headlines and use the paper that they're printed on as toilet paper and Kleenex paper. CNN even saying that Kamala Harris has no bump, that Kamala Harris is doing very bad with young people, in fact. And Kamala Harris seems to be doing not just bad, but 20 points bad with voters aged 18 to 34, down by 20 points to Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is effectively losing Hispanics to Donald Trump. Okay. And maybe this is why somebody who won young people and won the sort of like disproportionate diaspora of victim class oppressed, voter blocks that the Democrat Party is trying to knit together. This is why the guy that created that model is kind of freaking me out right now. You'll notice that Joe Biden was pushed out of office by Barack Obama. But that Barack Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris. A lot of Democrats have endorsed Kamala Harris. Barack Obama hasn't. Why is that? Well, according to the New York Post, and people who are now leaking, who are furious about this from inside of the Biden world, Barack Obama doesn't believe that Kamala Harris can beat Trump, which is why he hasn't endorsed her. Former President Barack Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris precisely because he doesn't think that she can beat Donald Trump. And that's what all the polls show. And that's actually what all smart people think. Obama's very upset because he knows she can't win. Obama's just incompetent. Obama knows she's an incompetent. The border czar never visited the border, saying that all migrants should have health insurance. She cannot navigate the landmines ahead of her. When you're running for president, there are things you can and cannot say. The turning point for Biden 81 came after his disastrous debate performance. But this was apparently part of an elaborate setup to remove him from office. It's very interesting. The source doesn't have a high hopes for the TV debate between Trump and Harris. When Biden was still in the race, a second debate was scheduled for September 10th. Wait until the debate. She can't debate. She's going to put her foot in her mouth on Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. She's going to say something really, really stupid. Obama knew this was going to happen. Joe knew this was going to happen. Now she's going to have to answer the real questions. The White House does not respond. Man, I got to tell you, Barack Obama is probably right on this one. Even Obama doubts Kamala can take on Trump. This headline is ping pong balling around the world. Obama knows she's incompetent. Barack Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala because she can win. This is a DNC power struggle. Take it with a grain of salt. Comes from a source close to the Biden family. Here's something to monitor. Here's something that we monitor. We monitor Barack Obama's movements because he's the person who's de facto in control of the Democrat Party right now. And what Barack Obama sees is audiences like this for Donald Trump. This was Donald Trump's audience last night in North Carolina. And he sees the fact that Kamala Harris has campaign rallies where she has to draw like COVID circles on the ground because there's like 6 people. It's remarkable. the last time that Barack Obama was in the same room as Kamala Harris, things got ugly. Things got ugly really, really fast. The power dynamics here are disastrous. Tucker Carlson covered it and did an excellent job. So awkward.
He's an adult. It's glorious. Well, half true. Biden is certainly an adult. He'll be 80 this fall. But no one in Washington thinks the Biden presidency is glorious anymore. They think it's a disaster. Polls show that voters strongly agree. Joe Biden is now the most unpopular person in virtually any room he enters. If you doubt it, watch this. This was the scene at the White House today. Take a careful look at this. You've never seen anything like it. That's the President of the United States in his own house, shunned. Nobody would talk to him. So Biden wandered off looking vacant as a crowd formed around a former president, Barack Obama, who was obviously deeply grateful for the attention. And then it got worse. It got much more poignant than that. Watch Biden try to horn in on the conversation swirling around Obama. Everyone involved in that conversation, including Kamala Harris, who supposedly works for Biden, ignored Biden completely. Biden desperately... Ask yourself if you have ever in your life seen anything sadder than this. Make it stop. It's awful. Now, it's true that Barack Obama has never liked Joe Biden. For the 8 years they worked together, Obama mocked him relentlessly as an old white guy. He did his best to keep Biden in the periphery. That's when he got the Ukraine account, faithfully. But even someone as arrogant as Barack Obama can pretend if he has to pretend. And that's the point of the video we just showed you. Obama no longer has to pretend. He can tell the world in the clearest possible terms that he has no respect for Joe Biden, because at this point, nobody has respect for Joe Biden.
Man, just sit there and shut up. This ain't no democracy.
Yes, it is.
No, it ain't. This is the United States. Your ass belong to me. They don't give a damn about you. They don't like you. I don't like you. Nobody likes you.
Some guy boy Danny. It hasn't been a great 24 hours for Democrats. Actually, it's been quite humiliating. Kamala Harris stood in for Joe Biden at an awkward White House event and had to beg people to please clap for her. Well, Kamala Harris then boarded a plane and mysteriously flew to Delaware, probably to break the news to Joe Biden that he wasn't running for president anymore. She did that via fake phone call that she actually called a literal recording. So fake, in fact, that Ben Carson said, who knows what condition Joe Biden is in. But DEI is alive and well. Yeah, it hasn't been great. Even MSNBC is interviewing swing state voters saying, we don't like the fact that Kamala Harris has been covering up the condition of Joe Biden while she's in office. What else is she willing to hide? Kamala Harris can't hide from the new polls that show that she's getting blown out by Donald Trump, and she can't hide from the fact that she is the most unfavorable, the most unpopular, is an easier way to say this, vice president in American history. Look at this. She's just in the dumpster, right? Even CNN saying this about Kamala Harris, like taking a baseball bat effectively to her chances to like cobble together some type of I don't know, young people and minorities. CNN's like, young people hate Kamala Harris. Kamala the cop. And as for minorities, Donald Trump is effectively winning with Hispanic voters. Speaking of people who have cobbled together the sort of diaspora of the young, disenfranchised, dispossessed, oppressed voter, right? Like Mr. Barack Obama himself is somebody who is not endorsed Kamala Harris, apparently because he doesn't like her. He doesn't win. and endorsed her because he doesn't think she can win. He's very upset and knows she can't win. She's just an incompetent. The border czar who never visited the border. That's what I'm saying. Meanwhile, while there's a very real Democrat Civil War power struggle going on, oh, and by the way, BLM came out against Kamala Harris, so that's going to be fun to monitor. Donald Trump is hosting rallies that look much, much bigger than pro-sporting events. Oh, yeah. Donald Trump turns his attention to radical left lunatic Kamala Harris in his recent rally in North Carolina. Oh, baby. This is going to be absolutely remarkable. We're going to tune in and see this. Look at this. Listen to this.
Proclaim Kamala Harris of the whorehouse.
What's up, guys? Boy Penny. I'm a man of faith, and often that means that you just believe without seeing. However, sometimes you literally can see a miracle, and you say, wow. I mean, just wow. When science proves a miracle, angels surrounding President Trump. There's no other explanation. This is not luck. There have been a lot of little schematics. This is one that I posted that got over 7 million views. This is a wireframe mesh of President Trump's head, where his head was turning in relation to the bullet trajectories. Watch for yourself and tell me if you believe that Donald Trump is the recipient of a miracle to be alive today.
You look for that.
Okay, so, one, we found out today from the FBI that there were 8 shots fired. There were 8 shell casings on the roof. And if the FBI is to be believed, then there were 8 bullets sent downrange intended for President Trump. One of those bullets hit Corey Compouture, who gave his life for his family, his movement, his country, and for President Trump. That bullet was intended for Trump, and that man stood in the way. God bless him. But there are still those on the left who believe that everything that happened to Donald Trump was a hoax. That maybe there weren't any bullets, in fact. They demand not Joe Biden's medical records, but Donald Trump's.
Maybe that seems really unusual. What is the actual injury to Donald Trump's ear that's under that bandage? Shouldn't we know that by now? It's weird. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of curiosity about it. You know, in the sort of media world, you know, my profession, it's weird, right? Where are the lawyers? Why isn't the New York Times, like, aggressively pursuing his medical records?
Yeah. Okay,
just a strange thing that I've noticed.
So the low information, smooth brain moron who has a job, a full-time job, and a show at MSNBC, is sitting there saying, they better rip off that bandage of Donald Trump's ear. I want to inspect it myself. There's no way that there could have been an actual bullet that pierced Trump's ear. These people, truly, the same ones who defended Joe Biden and Joe Biden's medical condition, who didn't ask a single question about Joe Biden's condition, are now saying, rip the bandage off. There was no actual injury to President Trump. Not possible. Now we go to Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera is a firearm manufacturer, business owner, YouTube, costume, second absolutist, and is a very, very politically correct. He has a kick-ass YouTube channel. And he has the latest video where he replicated the Trump earshot with 100,000 frames per second to show exactly what would have happened. To dispel conspiracy theories that it wasn't a bullet and ARs are too powerful. Thanks to Blisson's high speed for helping out. Here's the actual video itself. It's been seen by 6 million plus people. It is one of the hottest trending videos of all of YouTube. Brandon Herrera, his account is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, This is such awesome content. This is how you actually dispel conspiracy theories of the left.
On July 13th, 2024, an attempt was made on the life of the 45th President of the United States and potentially 47th, Donald Trump. The thankfully failed assassin fired a handful of bullets from an AR-15 off of a nearby rooftop, one of which nicking the president in his right ear. The Secret Service was then able to retaliate with one of their snipers, ending the threat at about 3,200 per second. But while this assassination attempt was unsuccessful, it started a whole host of conspiracy theories on the internet, and it raised a lot of questions, really, about ballistics, amongst other things. So given that recreating historical assassinations is something that we do quite a lot on the channel, we figured that we might be able to shed some light on some of these subjects that are currently in heavy debate in the ballistics of the situation. Now, this is the first time we've ever tackled a situation like this where the person in question is still alive. Not only still alive, but still actively running for president. But I do think we have the capability to add a lot of productive data to the conversation in an educational manner, while also giving the situation the seriousness and respect that I think it dictates. At least as much as we're capable. So there's three main things that I want to address today. First two are demonstrations to kind of dispel a lot of conspiracy theories right now, and the third is for fun. The first is showing how a shot like this is not only difficult to stage, but given the equipment, pretty much damn well impossible. The second is to address the internet armchair experts who think that an AR-15 is so deadly that even a shot on the ear would have been an instant kill, and that it was faked with blood packets or fucking aliens, I don't know, things and such. Now, with the shooter using an even worse AR-15, it was like an old DPMS, which is just pretty garbage tier, to be honest, and a red dot with no magnification. I'm going to show you exactly what that shot would have looked like from the shooter's perspective, and then you can judge for yourself how easy that shot would have been to stage. So we have our stand-in ballistic dummy target here, and we are going to walk back and pace out about 130 yards. It was between, I believe, 130 to 150 yards is where the shot was taken. Let's go on the inside of that and do 130 just to give the most benefit of the doubt here. For context, this is approximately 130 yards. See what that looks like down the sight. So we were just back there at like 130 yards trying to get that through the dot. Would any of you stand at 130 yards and let me take a shot on your ear? I wouldn't let you do that at 2 yards. You know what's suspiciously 4.5 inches to the left of your right ear? Wait. There's you absolutely, like, this dot covered a good chunk of the head at that distance at 130. Yeah, no bipod, super elevated heart rate, no magnification. So a lot of people were saying, like, well, yeah, you could just zoom in a scope like Call of Duty, huh? No, it's not a scope. This is not like a fucking sniper weapon. This right here is a 1 magnification, so it's 0 mag. It's literally just looking through a piece of glass with a dot on it. So yeah, now hopefully you have a better idea of why saying that the ear shot was specifically staged using that setup at like 150 yards is just fucking stupid, frankly. Firing. Did I see a jiggle? Did you? Oh, I barely clipped the ear. I clipped it right on the side, not on the top. I clipped him, like, right there in the middle. You're gonna have to look for, like, a vibration. Oh, yep, there it was.
You definitely grazed the ear.
Oh yeah, there you go. Whoa, damn.
That was like edge of the bullet.
Yeah, I know. That was. I think we could get closer. Yeah, so I think he actually got hit right up here. The bullet impact was right there. You can see where it just grazed the very edge of like the middle of his ear. But we're gonna try to go for the meat.
What I find the most interesting is that the whole head is still there.
That's kind of crazy. I thought it would have disappeared. Firing. Oh yeah, I think that was it. Oh yeah, that was the fucking money shot right there.
That's a perfect sim there.
How did the head go? I don't know. This is crazy. I don't think a bullet actually hit him.
Like his neck's not broken. I don't.
Where do you get the galactic?
I'm taking ballistic out of my name because I clearly don't understand them.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yo, what they say? Don't get your ears pierced to clear.
Trump said it felt like he got hit by something. You can see the vibration. It'd feel like someone kind of slapped you on the ear.
I was just going to say, I'm actually personally surprised that it had that much temporary cavity, that much expansion.
But notice how the head is still there.
Yeah. Yeah, if you play it all in full speed, it's like, well, that's very unfucking impressive.
Right.
But
I mean, everybody's making fun of his ear bandage in his speech, saying like, "Oh, he's wearing a big bandage for sympathy or whatever." You just saw his ear explode from cavitation from getting hit by a gun. Like,
yeah.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. I will never pretend to be something that I'm not. Something that I'm not is a sports guy, okay? We don't know much about... I live like a mile from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. I don't know who the quarterback for the team is. I don't play golf. I literally am in the studio day and night. And if I'm not in the studio, I'm with my kids for the precious time I get with them every single day. So I'm not playing golf. The closest I came to playing golf was actually at Trump Doral, of all places, because we went there for our Trump Tribs episodes, and we showed you what it was like at Trump Doral, playing golf. Now, this is something that was actually really an awesome experience, but it also lends to the president's love of the game of golf, and that like universe is something that I can blend together. Okay, so Donald Trump plus golf is something that I can get down. All right, now that's like the intersection of where we're at. Like memes like this of President Trump posting this on Truth Social. Is it memes like this that got Joe Biden to drop out? It probably is. Bam. Donald Trump at Doral making fun of Joe Biden. Here's a watch him send a bomb here, Soleimani style. Boom.
I guess it's terrible. Oh, it's like 4 more years. You think Biden can reach the peak?
And famously, during the debate, Donald Trump challenged Joe Biden to a golf game. He's from America. He's an American golfer from Modesto, California. He's number 3 in the world right now. So he's one of the best golfers out there. And he's got a successful little career going. He decided to golf with President Trump for charity. That video is the #1 video on all of YouTube right now. #1 trending video on all of YouTube. Okay, with almost 7 million views. And he's got a rip-roaring channel. It is an incredible video. What most people are saying about this video is that Donald Trump's a freaking awesome golfer because he's golfing with one of the best golfers on earth. I've seen your swing. You have no swing. From the debate. I'm actually surprised how good at golf Trump was. He's an amazing golfer, especially for his age. Watch the whole video if you want to seriously be shocked at how well he hit it. Not political, so avoid the nonsense. I watched Bryson break 50 with Trump. They landed on 50. Most shocking development. Trump ain't lying about his golf game. He's solid. Had solo birdie, solo eagle. Every drive was down the middle. Solid putter. I thought he was BSing. Trump's crazy good at golf. And finished the whole episode. I'd only seen clips. Very impressive. Despite what some people are saying, Trump putted extremely well with Bryson. Sure, only a couple of drops. But he never left himself in the to come back really solid. So golfers, like golf people, golf guys, are clearly very impressed with this. Trump played incredibly well with Bryson, driving iron putts too. Soloed both eagle, birdie, red tee format. Drew spin, force, shove, putt left spin. Everybody watched him play with Bryson. Very impressive. Okay. So my team was impressed with this, the golfers on our team, and put together the compilation of the best of from Bryson and Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy, and more of this. Okay, this is going to be something that we need right now. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and unfortunately, the current and hopefully very temporary administration has a history of ignoring the grave threats to our nation's safety. I mean, if the southern border were any indicator of how much Biden and Kamala care about America, I think we could safely say they basically hate us. But unchecked immigration, unfortunately, is just one of the issues threatening our safety. Foreign land purchases around our critical military sites are the newest disaster in the making. Now, I don't know how many of you know the organization known as CFIUS. Now, that stands for Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., CFIUS. It's basically a committee that investigates corporate deals that could affect national security. But unfortunately, under the current administration, as you probably guessed, their review of foreign land deals is ridiculously slow and way late to the game. Here to discuss this and give you an opportunity to secure your future, your time, freedom, and your ability to serve your church and your community is my dear friend and channel sponsor, Jeff Rogowski of Kingdom 320. You know him, we've had him on several times. Click on that link below to talk to Jeff and his team about building your legacy. It's absolutely free, and I promise you, you are going to very much enjoy that call. Jeff, thanks for coming in, especially in these epic times, what we just experienced.
Yeah. Dr. Steve, this is one of my favorite things I do every month. It's so good just to hang with you for a couple minutes, and I just love your community. It's just what you've built and the work that you do. I believe in. So thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you, and right back at you with your real estate. Your real estate expertise, but also your willingness to share it with others so they can enjoy, and that kind of real estate blessing and legacy building is just, I can't think of anything more worthy to be partnering with. I just found out you were actually not too far away from the scene of the crime when it happened on J13. You want to share with us where you were on that? I mean, it turned out, I would say fateful day, but it turned out to be miraculous, providential day. So why don't you share with us a little bit what happened?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those moments everybody listening, we're going to remember forever exactly where they were. And I happened to be in Reading, Pennsylvania, I believe about 3 hours from Butler. And we actually had an arena full of Christian entrepreneurs, about 4,000. We spent an incredible day with them, an organization called Life Surge. And I was speaking there, and we had finished up. We got picked up in a car service, and there's like 5 of us headed to a steakhouse. And actually, some of our mutual friends, the Benham brothers, were there in the car with us. And David Benham got a text from his wife that he just said, Trump's been shot. And we immediately just went right to our cell phones. I made the mistake of Googling it. And I'm reading, oh, he just fell.
CNN.
Or they knocked him down, and just the fake news at its best. We were talking before. I feel like. Want quick, accurate information, the only real place we really can go right now is Twitter, or X now, the work that Elon Musk is doing. But we went into this steakhouse, and we literally I had my iPhone there with Fox News playing, actually just listening in. We're all trying to get information. But we realized probably about halfway through the dinner, he had been shot, but he's going to be okay. And we really, in the middle of this steakhouse, just the 5 of us, we just started praying and interceding immediately. For his safety. And I just don't know. I've always believed God's hand has been on President Trump, but maybe if somebody listening was on the fence about that, when you really look at how close it was, the millimeters, away, and how he turned his head at the last second. I mean, I just thank God that he preserved President Trump, because we'd be in a world of hurt right now without him.
Oh my, I can't even imagine it. I mean, it was without a doubt the single most publicly witnessed divine miracle ever. I mean, bar none. The whole world saw. Jeff, I don't know if you saw. You mentioned
Twitter or X, they're purportedly Ugandan kids, but they reenacted it. These little Ugandan kids reenacted the assassination.
I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, it's so cute. You've got to see it. But they center on Trump rising up and saying, "Fight, fight, fight." I mean, it was the world witnessed a miracle, and it was just and literally just the whole idea of him rising up and you know.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
it was. I mean, because you know, we all. I'm sure you've thought this. I remember, you know, we all think like, if we're in a situation like that, how would we act? How would we respond? And you like to think that you're going to rise up and be the hero, but you will never know unless you're in the moment. And it's only what's in you is what's going to come out. And I mean, we saw. It was all instinct, you know. It was what was inside of him. It was basically the man that he is, and I couldn't be prouder to have him as the next 47th president of the United States.
Amen and amen. All right, well, let's dive into this organization, CFIUS. It seems so trivial by comparison, but it is important. President Trump, hopefully, of course, will be overseeing this, but a lot of people don't know about what's going on with it. So the current administration was, I believe, intending to expand CFIUS's jurisdiction. So let me just ask you, do you think an expanded jurisdiction would provide the national security protection that the Treasury Department seems to think it would?
Yeah, you know, it depends is the answer. And let me say that. I mean, obviously, you stated earlier what CFIUS is, right? The Committee for the Foreign Investment in the United States. And, you know, historically, we have a proud tradition, really, of being open to and encouraging foreign investment. But CFIUS is an exception to that rule because of the power that it basically would have to block foreign investment in the name of national security. So CFIUS, just to give a little context for your viewers, you know, it's an interagency committee that's chaired by the Treasury Department, essentially, and made up actually of multiple departments: Department of Energy, Homeland Security, Justice, Commerce, and a few others. And, you know, basically they're responsible for three types of transactions, essentially. Focused, like you said, Dr. Steve, mainly on business, where a foreign country could be taking ownership in a business, or a transaction where a foreign company could be non-passive or non-controlling, but they're getting access to critical technology or sensitive data. Like we're seeing that like with TikTok playing out. But what we're focused here today is also certain types of real estate transactions. So CFIUS, they extend it beyond real estate. I mean, they extend it beyond business to real estate, just because real estate doesn't necessarily have to be bought in the name of a business. It could be a trust, it could be a personal name. But as you stated, facilities. So, but a common misconception, I mean, as you said, most people aren't even aware of CFIUS. They're very secretive, and most of their work is 100% classified. But a common misconception about them is that they have the authority to block real estate transactions, but they actually don't. The only person that does is the President of the United States, that ultimately would have the authority to prohibit or suspend a transaction. So essentially what CFIUS would be doing is if it identifies a piece of real estate that's being purchased by a foreign entity and says this could be a potential threat, what they're looking to do is really mitigate the risk by creating what they call a mitigation agreement, or in some cases they would impose it upon the entity trying to buy the real estate, and ultimately, if they determine that the entity isn't being cooperative, or this is a risk where it's too close to a government facility, then CFIUS can recommend to the president, and the president, by presidential order, would make the final decision. So, this is where it gets scary, Dr. C, because your original question is, do I think the expansion of their jurisdiction will provide or improve national security? And it's scary because the answer really is it depends who our president is.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you look at the biggest concern of CFIUS over the last 4 or 5 years has been China. And China now owns $6.1 billion of United States real estate, including 383,000 acres of U.S. farmland.
Wow.
So you cannot tell me that CFIUS over the last 3 years during the Biden administration has not rang the bell with President Biden saying, hey, this is a concern, this is a threat. Or even scarier, maybe they didn't because they're part of the whole agenda.
Right.
But ultimately, that's how the process works. But when you have China, it's not just China, by the way, but zeroing in on them because they've been the biggest concern. When you have a department either not notifying the president of the risk or notifying him and he's not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
You look at the borders, you look at all the other areas that the Biden administration has, left our country at risk. It's scary. So under President Trump, I believe the answer to the question is expand jurisdiction will be a good thing. Under this current administration, it's been a train wreck.
Wow. Well said. Let's pivot to domestic real estate markets in general. I mean, how do you think